Laws are supposed to maintain order, protect the public, and ensure justice, right? But across the United States, there are some bizarre, outdated, and downright shocking laws that make you question how they ever came to be. Some might make you laugh, while others will leave you scratching your head in disbelief. In this video, we'll explore some of the most bizarre U.S. laws that are still on the books today. Hold on tight. You're in for a wild ride. In Arizona, it's illegal for donkeys to sleep in bathtubs. You've probably heard about strange animal-related laws, but this one from Arizona takes the cake. According to Arizona law, it is illegal for donkeys to sleep in bathtubs. While this law may sound like a quirky little joke, it's actually rooted in a real incident from the 1920s. A farmer had his donkey sleep in a bathtub, and after a heavy rain, the bathtub was swept away by floodwaters, causing a massive rescue operation. In response, the state passed this law to prevent such a dangerous situation from happening again. While it's unlikely that anyone today would think it's a good idea to let their donkey take a nap in the bathtub, the law remains in effect. It's just one of those laws that hasn't been repealed, even though it's rarely enforced. Imagine, though, if you did have a donkey and wanted to give it a little indoor comfort. Sorry, that's apparently against the law. In Alabama, it's illegal to wear a fake mustache in church now. Let's talk about Alabama, where the law makes it illegal to wear a fake mustache in church that causes others to laugh. At first glance, this law might seem like an odd attempt at keeping decorum in sacred spaces, but its origins trace back to a time when humor and mockery were frowned upon during religious services. The law was likely created to prevent disruptions and maintain the seriousness of worship. Can you imagine trying to get through a Sunday service only for someone to burst out laughing because of a comically fake mustache? While this law is rarely enforced today, it's still technically on the books, which means if you plan to go to church in Alabama, you might want to leave your mustache at home, unless it's the real deal. In California, it's illegal to eat oranges in hotel rooms. This one might make you scratch your head in confusion, but in California, it's illegal to eat oranges in hotel rooms. The law originates from a time when hotel owners wanted to protect their property from citrus stains. Oranges are notoriously messy, and it wasn't uncommon for guests to leave behind sticky residue on furniture, carpets, or bedding. In response, California passed this law to protect hotel owners from the hassle and expense of cleaning up after citrus mishaps. While it may sound absurd in the modern age, this law is still technically in effect. Can you imagine being caught enjoying a simple snack in your hotel room only to be told it's against the law? If you're planning a trip to California, you might want to think twice before peeling an orange in your hotel room. In Colorado, it's illegal to ride a horse while under the influence. It's no secret that driving under the influence is illegal and dangerous. But did you know that in Colorado, it's also illegal to ride a horse while under the influence of alcohol or drugs? This law stems from the old days when horses were a primary mode of transportation, and authorities wanted to ensure public safety. Riding a horse while intoxicated could be just as dangerous as driving a car while drunk, so the law was created to prevent potential accidents or injuries. Today, it may seem like an odd law to have on the books, given that most people don't use horses as their primary means of transportation anymore. However, it's a good reminder that alcohol and other substances can impair your judgment and ability to control animals, just as it can with vehicles. So if you're planning a ride through the beautiful Colorado countryside, remember that the law is still in place, and you'll want to be sober while galloping through the hills. In Maine, it's illegal to keep Christmas decorations up. After January 14th, Maine has a law that prohibits keeping Christmas decorations up after January 14th. While most people are ready to take down their holiday decor after the new year, some families like to extend the festive cheer throughout the month of January. In Maine, however, this is against the law. This law was likely enacted to prevent excessive holiday displays from dragging on too long, which might be seen as a nuisance to neighbors. Can you imagine getting a fine for simply wanting to keep the holiday spirit alive a little longer? While this law is unlikely to be enforced, it still stands as a quirky piece of legislation. So if you're planning on keeping your Christmas tree up into February in Maine, you might want to reconsider. In Louisiana, it's illegal to send a Mardi Gras greeting card. Mardi Gras is one of the most famous celebrations in Louisiana, and it's known for its parades, parties, and extravagant displays of purple, green, and gold. However, in Louisiana, it's technically illegal to send a Mardi Gras greeting card. This law, which is a holdover from the 19th century, was originally intended to prevent people from profiting off the holiday without contributing to the community. The idea was that greeting cards would diminish the authentic spirit of Mardi Gras and commercialize it. While you'll likely never find yourself arrested for sending a festive Mardi Gras card, the law still exists as a reminder of how traditions can sometimes clash with modern-day commercialization. So, if you're in Louisiana and feeling generous with your Mardi Gras greetings, you might want to skip the card and stick with beads and throws instead. In Kentucky, it's illegal to carry ice cream in your back pocket. Kentucky's law against carrying ice cream in your back pocket might sound completely absurd, but it's actually based on an old-time method of horse theft. The law, which dates back to the 19th century, was designed to prevent people from using ice cream to lure horses away. The theory was that criminals would place ice cream in their pockets, hoping that horses would follow the sweet scent, thus allowing them to steal the animals. While ice cream theft is no longer a major concern in Kentucky, the law is still on the books. Imagine getting caught while enjoying a scoop of your favorite flavor, only to realize you violated a bizarre and antiquated law. If you're ever in Kentucky and craving ice cream, maybe leave the back pocket out of the equation. In Alaska, it's illegal to whisper in someone's ear while they're moose hunting. Alaska's moose hunting regulations are serious business, and there's one rule that stands out as particularly odd. It's illegal to whisper in someone's ear while they're moose hunting. This law was designed to prevent distractions and maintain the focus of hunters as they track these majestic animals. Moose hunting requires a great deal of concentration, and a sudden whisper in someone's ear could distract them and lead to accidents. While you may never find yourself whispering in a hunter's ear during a moose hunt, it's a strange law that highlights the seriousness of hunting practices in Alaska. So, if you're planning to head into the Alaskan wilderness for a hunt, make sure to respect the rules and avoid any unnecessary distractions. The last thing you want is to get tangled up in legal trouble because of a well-meaning whisper. In Ohio, it's illegal to fish for whales on Sunday. Whale fishing in Ohio? Sounds strange, right? But in Ohio, it's actually illegal to fish for whales on Sundays. The law dates back to a time when Ohio was still a frontier state, and such laws were created to regulate fishing and maintain order. Of course, whales aren't found in Ohio, at least not in any of its lakes or rivers, so the law is largely symbolic. Nonetheless, this quirky law still exists, leaving you to wonder who thought it was necessary to prevent whale fishing on Sundays in a landlocked state. It's a perfect example of how some laws can remain on the books long after their original purpose has become obsolete. If you're ever in Ohio and want to try fishing, just remember, no whales on Sundays. In North Carolina, it's illegal to plow your cotton field with an elephant. North Carolina's laws have some deep historical roots, and one of the most bizarre is the prohibition of plowing your cotton field with an elephant. While elephants were once used for heavy labor in various parts of the world, they were never a common sight in North Carolina. The law was likely passed in response to the circus culture of the 19th century and the need to prevent animal abuse by discouraging the use of large, exotic animals for agricultural work. Today, the law seems completely absurd, but it remains on the books as a piece of agricultural history. If you ever find yourself in North Carolina and are thinking about using an elephant for farming purposes, you might want to reconsider. It's illegal, and it's probably just as bad for the elephant as it is for the cotton. Laws often reflect the unique cultures, values, and history of a region. While some bizarre laws may seem funny or nonsensical today, they are rooted in real problems or concerns from the past. It's fascinating to see how these rules have survived over time, despite the fact that they no longer make sense in modern society. Have you ever heard of any bizarre laws in your state or country? Let us know in the comments. It's always interesting to see what strange regulations are still on the books in different places. And who knows, maybe you're living with one of these wacky laws without even realizing it.